every time I was rolling through it this morning, one Colorado player after another, offensive lineman, defensive lineman, now wide receiver, everybody not named Sanders or Hunter seemed to be in the portal from Colorado today. Can you give me a number on that?
I can't, but you know how that's going to play, right? That's Deion's going to be, I'm rearranging the chairs on deck. I mean, I've sent them on their way. I've
they
packed
did that
them
on
up.
the Titanic, I heard.
Yeah,
too.
that was probably a bad. I don't think Deion's going to use that example as I was saying it. Although it's a terrible example, Brown. But that's the way Deion's going to play this, right? Is hey, listen, I'm all for it because they're leaving in their Civic, and I'm bringing in guys in a Mercedes. That's the way he's going to play this. That was a better example of what Deion would say than rearranging the chairs.
But I don't know if that's the case in this situation.
Well, and here's the thing.
Well, I told you how it's going to play. I don't know if it's the case.
Yeah, if you're out there losing players and you're not recruiting, you guys remember the bit about,
I do.
I don't want to upset somebody down the road.
Yeah.
If I'm not going to see their guys.
I don't go there, they come here.
Yeah, they come here. We're all about the portal. Well, if you lose more than you gain, that's a numbers problem.
It is. I will be interested to see once this portal window closes in 15 days where Colorado stands on their roster, because as much grief as Luganville took, Luganville will be on the show tomorrow, by the way, as much grief as Luganville took, we'll see if we can get him to say it again. He was right. That did not have depth enough to be a championship roster or anywhere close to a championship roster.
I actually think they go 1-11 this year.
I got to pull up this schedule.
In a weaker conference.
In a weaker conference.
You have the schedule in front of you?
Yeah. I mean, the schedule it's a tough schedule. Okay, so you start with North Dakota State. That's coin flip, right? I think they win the game.
Yeah, I mean, North Dakota State was off a little bit this year. I'll give them North Dakota State.
I think Nebraska is going to beat them in Lincoln this year.
Nebraska, it gets forgotten. They had absolutely miserable quarterback play and were in that game in Boulder when Colorado was as hot as they could be.
I fully expect Nebraska to be night and day better than they were last year.
Yeah, and that's a bit of a payback game, and it is in Lincoln.
Yeah, they're going to be favored there.
Yeah, I'll take Nebraska.
Colorado State was a hell of a game last year.
Should have won it.
Yeah, Fort Collins this year.
Yep. That's a tough one for them right there, but I'll even give them that win. I'll give them 2 wins there.
Baylor.
I don't know what Dave Aranda's got this year. I mean, that was a disappointing team last year.
Yeah, I just don't think they're going to be good enough to beat Baylor at UCF.
Is Gus supposed to win that game or not supposed to win that game?
Supposed to win
He's supposed to win that one. Yeah.
I don't know. That makes it tricky then.
Kansas State at Arizona.
They get destroyed by Kansas State. I don't know what Arizona's got left after Jeff Fish left.
Yeah, they had some.
They had a lot of departures.
I still think they're going to be good. Cincinnati.
Should be a loss there, though they get it at home.
At Texas Tech.
That's a loss.
Utah.
Loss.
At Kansas.
Loss.
Oklahoma State.
Loss. Yeah, they're going to finish tough.
Yeah. Here are the guys in the portal just today from Colorado. Zach Blackwood, defensive lineman. David Connor, offensive tackle. Miles Slusher, safety. Savion Washington, offensive tackle. And Tavarish Dawson, a wide receiver, one-time Auburn player there. Some of those were starters or heavy contributors, especially on the offensive line. That wasn't very good last year.
No, I think his only ride and dies are his 2 kids, Shilo and Shedeur.
And his adopted child.
And then Travis Hunter.
Yeah, who says like a son to him. Now, Philip makes an excellent analogy in Deion's, he calls it a Ponzi scheme. In Deion's scheme, this is a bit of a equivalent of a run on the bank. Like everybody runs on the bank, and I don't have enough numbers to make it work, right? I don't have enough dollars to give to everyone. And
that's eventually what gets you beat.
It will get you beat. And if he loses too many, because we already know he doesn't want to recruit. He has said this. He did not deny that he doesn't go out on the road recruiting. He just tried to justify why he doesn't. I mean, I think he had 8 in his signing class. I don't know how many kids you're going to be able to get out of the portal.
Yeah, he's playing the portal game, but he also says we're not an ATM.
That's right.
You're coming here to play for Colorado, to play for prime time. You're
Coach Prime.
You're coming here to improve yourself for the NFL. And on the flip side of this, and LT and I really think this is his last year of coaching.
Yeah, I was going to say real quick before you get to your point, Blake says how quickly we will be on the hot seat after going 1-11. He'll never be on a hot seat because he's just going to leave.
Yeah, and he is bringing them far more attention than they've had, and it has been such a bad program. But I don't think he'd get on the hot seat.
But you will agree, October, November attention was very different than September attention.
Well,
last
they disappeared.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
still, they were going to go probably 3-9 with whoever the coach was going to be. Why not do it with Deion and get all the exposure?
No,
I like
But
TCU,
September, they were the talk of college
Jim,
football.
TCU game, I watched every play.
Me too.
Colorado State game, I watched every play.
Me too.
Nebraska game, I watched every play.
I watched every play of the Nebraska game in between that when both Game Day and Fox Big Noon Kickoff were at the same place.
That's right. Once they started losing, I had no appetite. I didn't care about Colorado. I mean, they were getting drilled at the end of the year. I didn't watch any of their
But this
stuff.
is hard to say, but it's true. His brand is bigger than it's ever been. So he can come right back to TV.
Oh yeah, he won't hurt.
Troy says, "My goodness, the bullet that Auburn dodged by not hiring him."
I don't know.
There were a lot of people in our audience that wanted Deion Sanders.
I would strongly doubt he was ever seriously considered.
No, I'm just saying
Yeah,
there were
I know.
fans that
I
wanted
know.
him.
I know. Like, I don't even think Florida State seriously considered him. And by the way, I mean, I would take Mike Norvell 15 times before I take Deion. I just – so you guys think he just walks away at the end of this year?
I do.
He doesn't try to go – I mean, I don't know that he can parlay this into anything else in college football.
I don't think he's going to be hireable.
I don't think
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he can parlay this into anything else in college football.
unless he has a magical run here on this portal to build up a heck of a team. I mean, he may have two of the best players in college football in Shedeur and Travis Hunter, and if you got two of the best players in college football, but you can't put a team around them, and they end up being a 1-win team, a 3-win team, I don't think that says a whole lot about you as a coach. And on the backside of this, the other story he has going on, according to the New York Post, Deion says he's advising Shedeur and Travis that there are only 6 NFL teams they can play for.
Okay, so Shedeur is
Here are those teams: San Francisco, Dallas, Washington, Baltimore, Atlanta. What do those 5 have in common?
Deion played for
all of them.
Deion played for all of them. The one he didn't play for, Philadelphia. Those
Yeah.
are the 6 he says that his son and Travis will play for.
Oh, the Rams aren't good enough.
Yes. I hate the Dolphins didn't make the
So
cut.
Shedeur is really good. Can you guys remember the last time you had a really good quarterback that lost a lot of games in college? It happens in the NFL sometimes.
Well, Patrick Mahomes was a 500 quarterback.
I mean, he
wasn't
was 7-5 his senior year, right?
Got beat in the bowl game.
Yeah, but I think even internally, like watching the game, we would have said Shedeur is better, maybe just because more of exposure. Jared Goff's another one of these guys that never beat a top 25.
You know, I'll tell you, Lance, and it's nowhere.
By the way, that schedule to me, you mentioned in a newly Big 12, that's a top Big 12 schedule.
What Colorado has?
Yeah.
Well, I think the Big 12's slightly better with the bringing in the Utah.
Oh, I think it's a good conference.
So they're Big 12. Host Baylor at UCF. Host Kansas State at Arizona. Host Cincinnati at Texas Tech. Host Utah at Kansas. Host Oklahoma State.
That's a tough schedule.
Yeah, I don't know if the rest of the Big 12 did this. It's interesting they don't have to play back-to-back road games, that it's home away, home away, home away, home away like that. You're right. I mean, it is not an easy schedule. And you may be right that they go 1-11. I think they'll find a couple of wins in there. I'm trying to think of a comparison, and this is a bad comparison, but bad team to, at times, a good NFL quarterback was Jay Cutler. I mean, he was on some bad Vandy teams. Now, he's not Shedeur Sanders.